All right, we're live. I'm using a phone where everything might be delayed, so may have a delay in our transmission. And I also started a little bit late. I started 5 minutes late, but want to go through, man, the amount of fights that we had this weekend. Um, it was a good set of scraps, man, over the weekend, and I decided I would go into it in some detail, fight by fight. Now, I'm what you need. You watch my channel. If you like what you're seeing, you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate to my channel via PayPal if you so wish. I'll leave the link in the comment section. All right, my PayPal. But we're going to talk about the weekend fights. Now, if you guys want to pop in here as a guest, let me know in the chat section. I will send you a link as a guest. Hopefully I'll be able to type your name in and send you the link. If not, well, just what it is. But yeah, you can catch my PayPal here. I'm typing it into the chat right now. We're frozen up. I don't know. Oh, we're not frozen up. Okay. Let's try that again. Post commit. Okay, so everything looked like it froze up a minute. Yeah, so we're gonna get into the weekend fights here. Oh, there's a little bit of rain falling right now. That's interesting. See if I get this right here. So that's my PayPal. Okay, so let me get into the weekend fights. Let's talk a little bit about it. Like I said before, my name is What You Need. If you haven't been on this channel before, well, I'm what you need. We talk boxing. We try to keep it strictly boxing. And over the weekend, ESPN had some fights. The Zone had some fights. Showtime had some fights. And then we also had the pay-per-view fights over the weekend in Dubai. All right. You can check out iFight TV to check those out. And there was also the launching of Pro Boxing or Pro Box TV, which is really cool. And on there was a fight there. So I want to start off with that fight because I want to do all of the pro boxing bouts, and then we'll do the exhibitions last. All right. Of course, we know what the highlight of the weekend is, so I'll leave that pro boxing bout to be the last one. And we can chop it up. If you want to be a guest on this, again, you want to pop up here, say your piece as a guest on this show, you can do so simply by requesting that I send the link to you, and I will go in my guest menu and I will try and find your name, or I will send the link to your name. Okay. Or I may just put it in the chat section. I don't know. Well, we'll see which one. But if you're coming in here as a guest, please mute your mic before you come in and just be respectful, and that's all that I ask. Everything else is cool. All right, let's get into it. So, the weekend fights is what we're looking at. I am what you need. So on Friday, actually, on Pro Box TV, their debut, and Pro Box TV is great. Finally, we have a channel that's exclusively boxing, and exclusively all that's talked on it is going to be boxing. The following people are on that channel as hosts. You got Paulie Malignaggi, Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones Jr., and you also got Juan Manuel Marquez, the Hispanic correspondent for the Latin America. Really awesome. They launched it off. The boxers are collaborating together. It's really a great thing. And also, in addition, the brainchild of a certain gentleman, they refer to, I can't remember his name right now. It was Gary something maybe. But I think it's the best thing that could happen in boxing, because we need to have a boxing channel. There's golfing channels, there's all kinds of other channels with mixed content, but there's no channel for pro boxing. So you can find all your boxing on that channel. They'll have reruns and all of that stuff. So it should be awesome. And you can do your pay-per-view buys. You can buy pay-per-view through that channel. Hopefully that outlet will be able to connect with every single channel, link you up to wherever, so if you want to see it live or whatever. All right, people. So let me get into Pro TV's debut fight, which was the main event was Jean Pascal versus Fang Longmeng. Now, Fang Longmeng is a Chinese boxer, Olympian, gold medalist, I believe, in the light heavyweight division. He has been undefeated for a good while. Good southpaw, good boxer. And his skills were on display as he was facing 39-year-old Jean Pascal. And Jean Pascal is trying to make a run again to try and face a light heavyweight champion. Now, there was another light heavyweight fight that happened, but this was on Pro Box TV, Jean Pascal versus Fang Longmeng. And Fang Longmeng obviously was the favorite to win the fight, but Jean Pascal had other ideas. And even though Fang Longmeng was catching Jean Pascal with some beautiful straight lefts, and Jean Pascal is slightly wild in the way how he shoots his shots, not technically sound, Jean Pascal got himself back in the fight. He actually dropped Fang Longmeng somewhere in the, I believe it was a 12 rounder. I believe he dropped him in the 7th, somewhere there. Now, it wasn't a clean knockdown in the sense that Fang Longmeng was throwing a punch. Jean Pascal actually hit Fang Longmeng's guard. Fang Longmeng, with the momentum, kind of fell down. But I gotta say, after that knockdown, which became a knockdown, or official knockdown, Jean Pascal really found new life and new energy. He was charging Fang Longmeng a lot. He was staying more active. When, as the commentators was correctly saying, when either guy waited on the other guy to do something, that's when they got tagged. So if you were being first and initiating everything, I think you more or less took control of the fight. So that's how that went. Fang Longmeng was landing straight left hands, but anytime he paused, Jean Pascal would take over. And so that's how the fight was going yin and yang. It was a really close fight, but Jean Pascal finished the fight very, very strong, hurting Fang Longmeng. And if they had a little bit more time, I think he would have stopped him. And I think he finished so strong in the 12th round, particularly the 12th round, that he got the decision over Fang Longmeng. It was a close fight, though. Could have gone either way. You guys can give me your impressions on the fights between Jean Pascal and Fang Longmeng. If you haven't seen the fight, there's little bits and pieces of it. Pro Box TV. Of course, I also go to a site called All the Best Fights, where you can get boxing, MMA, wherever. And that's a site that you can go to also to see reruns of that. They get links from all over the internet, and they put them there. It's also should be still on YouTube somewhere, where you can see the whole entire fight. But to be honest with you, it was quite a fight. I got to see it, and I thought it was very entertaining. Fang Longmeng was much more technical than Jean Pascal, but I noticed when Jean Pascal became more aggressive and was really throwing punches at him, it's maybe wild punches sometimes, but he just never gave up. Fang Longmeng would not necessarily respond the same way I expected him to. Fang Longmeng seemed to be the stronger guy, but Jean Pascal, man, was just so relentless and throwing so many punches that he just would not be denied. And he caught Fang Longmeng with a straight right that put him down, and then he started landing straight rights a lot more often. Heart of a champion, man. This dude pulled off an upset, yet another Jean Pascal upset. He upsetted Marcus Brown. He's upsetted Fang Longmeng. Jean Pascal's on a run right now, so we'll see. So he may be in line to face Dimitri Bivol, as of course we know that Artur Beterbiev and John Smith Jr. they're trying to face off with each other. So Artur Beterbiev, if Canelo doesn't face Dimitri Bivol, it's very possible that Jean Pascal could be in line to get a rematch with Bivol. All right. Now, I want to talk about another fight now that happened on another network, which still is involving that division, which is the light heavyweight division. And that fight also was a very close fight. It was between Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards. And Craig Richards really came on strong more towards the ending portion of the fight. Craig Richards would land those nice, long, sharp right hands on Joshua Buatsi. Joshua Buatsi is more of an inside fighter. I could see. I see Virgil Hunter trains him. And Buatsi, he would cut the distance, and really he did the best of his work on the inside. Whereas Craig Richards, which is a much more taller, longer fighter with a much longer reach, he tended to do his best work on the outside. And he caught Buatsi with a couple of shots, a couple of right hands coming down the end of the stretch. And by the way, it seems as though Craig Richards was the harder puncher of the two. Now, Joshua Buatsi had knocked out almost every single opponent he had faced. He was an Olympian and everything, coming up. But when it came to Craig Richards, it was a very, very close fight. Very, very tough fight. You could have given it to Craig Richards. You could have given it to Joshua Buatsi. It could have gone either way. Craig Richards came on very strong at the end of the fight, so that some people would say, well, Craig Richards should really have gotten the fight because he came on strong at the end. But was it enough, to get the win? That's the question. But it was a good fight. Joshua Buatsi's actually in line. This was a WBA eliminator for the as a #1 contender for the mandatory contender for the WBA title, which is what Dimitri Bivol has. So Buatsi, he actually won the fight. It was a split decision win. I think it was a unanimous decision win. I can't remember which one it was, but he actually won the fight between himself and Craig Richards. But I really thought that Craig Richards actually pulled it off. But then again, it is what it is. I mean, he did take a lot of punishment early on, so I'm not mad. I'm not complaining. It's not a robbery for me. It was a close fight. It could have gone either way. It could have even been a draw. Joshua Buatsi pulls it off, and he moves on to face his next opponent, which hopefully puts him in line for now a title run against Dimitri Bivol. So Bivol actually will have, two guys that you can look at. It's either Jean Pascal or Joshua Buatsi, who is now his mandatory pretty much, will be his mandatory, I think. So it's those two guys are in line to face Dimitri Bivol. Which one of them do I think has a better chance of beating Bivol? I don't think either of them have a good chance of beating Bivol, because what Joshua Buatsi shows me, even though he has a good style to try and get inside of those longer, Bivol's footwork is just so good that I just don't think that Buatsi can close that distance to get to Bivol. If Canelo couldn't do it, I'm pretty sure Buatsi can. But I mean, you gotta give them a shot, and that's the important thing. Now, this depends on if Bivol doesn't end up fighting the winner of. So Bivol will have options. Bivol will either have a Canelo fight next, which is a big money fight, or he may have the Buatsi fight next, which would be the guy in line. I think Buatsi has the interim title now, so that he means he's the mandatory for Bivol, or it could be Jean Pascal. So there are three guys kind of vying for Bivol. Now, some people are talking about Bivol facing Canelo at 168. That's not happening, because Bivol already kind of expressed that he would, anything he's doing, he's really staying at 175. He's not going down to 168. And that makes sense, because you just never know what the future holds. And so I think it makes more sense for Bivol to just stay in his division and look to face pretty much anybody in his division. So I think he's got plenty of people in his division to look at. The guy I was thinking of, he's actually at 175, is Hart. What Hart is this? Jessie Hart. Jessie Hart is one of the guys in the, I believe he's still at 175. He's in the 175 division, as well as Another person who was in line to face Dimitri Bivol is Gilberto Ramirez, who had a fight last weekend, and he's also in line to face Dimitri Bivol. So Dimitri Bivol will have plenty of contenders to face, and everybody's going to be gunning for Dimitri Bivol. Now, the bullseye is now on him because he beat Canelo, the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world at the time. He beat him. So I think Bivol is going to have his hands full of all kinds of contenders from here on in. So we have Buatsi, we have Gilberto Ramirez who wants to get, you know, a shot at Bivol, and we also have Jean Pascal, who's put himself into that whole race. Plus, we have Canelo, who may want to rematch with Bivol. So Bivol has his hands full, you know, when it comes to people who may have him as a target, which is great. That's great. That means you're never short of opponents. The question is, when is Artur Beterbiev going to be facing the WBO champion Joe Smith Jr.? When is he going to be facing that guy? Because depending on the winner of that, Bivol is going to have a lot of his hands full with defending his title. It's going to be one guy after the next. He has 3 guys lined up to defend his title against. Plus, he has Canelo, if Canelo wants to go back up to 175 and take a second go at it. So there's all of that for Bivol. And that's great. You're not short of opponents. You got like 4 opponents lined up there just wanting to get at you. And the more you get in demand, this is what I loved about, you know, boxing. The more you get in demand, the more you have the bullseye on you, is the more your value goes up, because everybody wants to face you. Everybody wants to fight you. And when people actually want to face you or fight you, that means your value is going up. So that's great for Bivol. It really changed his whole trajectory. That fight really put him on the map. So that is what we have when it comes to the 175-pound division. I want to now move to the 160-pound division, and I want to look at ESPN, because on ESPN, Janibek, as everybody knows him, Janibek Alemkhanuly, he faced Danny Diggum. Now, Danny Diggum was an undefeated fighter, just like Janibek Alemkhanuly. For those of you who don't know who Janibek is a Kazakhstan fighter who started fighting somewhere back in 2016. Had been mowing everybody down. He'd been knocking everybody out. He has a style something like Gennady Golovkin, and a lot of people would have loved to have seen him face Gennady Golovkin. But, of course, Gennady Golovkin's a different era to Janibek. That's probably never going to happen, because Gennady Golovkin's trying to leave the game by the time Janibek gets up into a position to really, really, really do something. He's almost at contender level. I think he's close to contender level right now. And he fights something like Triple G. He's a southpaw, if I'm not mistaken. If I do remember, he's a southpaw. He knocked out Danny Diggum. He was beating his ass up, and then he knocked him out cold. What was a left uppercut or something like that? He knocked him out cold. He was beating him up real bad. It took 3 rounds to get rid of that guy. And it's a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a good scrap. I watched it, and it was good. It was good. Now, who is Danny Diggum? That's the question, right? Danny Diggum. Danny Diggum, I don't know who he is. But it still was a good scrap. And Janibek's a guy that a lot of people talk about. You hear some people say that Demetrius Andrade tried to duck Janibek by going up to 168. I would have loved to see Demetrius Andrade face Janibek, but to be honest with you, I don't think that he's ducking him. I think he's going up to 168 to face whoever he can get, a challenge, a bigger name. He's trying to get bigger names. He's not trying to get guys. Janibek might be an excellent fighter, but he's not trying to get another Janibek or another, guy that's on the rise, but there's nothing else to gain from that. You're not going to get a host of the money because you beat Janibek. You know what I mean? So risk versus reward is always the way how boxing goes. So that's the nature of the beast. All right. The last fight was, well, actually, there are a couple other fights. So let me go to that before I go to the big one. So now I'm going to go across to the legitimate fights that happened on iFight TV, which is found, was covering the Dubai event. So there were two fights on the card. One was a championship fight between Delphine Persoon and Elhem Mekhaled. That fight actually went the distance. It was for the interim, I believe, super featherweight championship of the world, which Delphine Persoon has. I think she's I believe she's the WBA, actually, not interim, but I think she's the actual champion, but I'm not too sure. But anyway, there was a championship fight on that card in Dubai, and it went 10 rounds. It was very competitive, but Delphine Persoon, of course, she landed more of the telling blows in that fight, and she won the fight. And Delphine Persoon is such a tough customer. She has been beating everybody. The only person she did not beat was Katie Taylor, and arguably she beat her twice, right? Anyway, Delphine Persoon, very exciting fight. You guys can go ahead and look at it on YouTube if it's still up on YouTube. Very exciting fight between her and Mekhaled. Mekhaled represented, man. She was the bigger of the two of them, but still Delphine was landing more of the telling shots, and the tide turned in her favor. So Delphine Persoon, congratulations to her on the undercard of Mayweather versus Don Moore in Dubai. And then we had a sort of stay busy fight, Badou Jack facing Hani Atio. Hani Atio, he's the guy that also Roy Jones Jr. actually faced a short while ago and hit him with a body shot and put him down. He was at cruiserweight at the time, so he lost some weight, came to United Arab Emirates in Dubai, and Badou Jack dispatched this dude within 2 rounds. Hit him a left hook from hell, kind of like what Joe Frazier hit Muhammad Ali with, and dude just crumbled. But instead of getting up like Muhammad Ali, pop up like a lollipop. Nope, he was out cold. He knocked him out cold. He fainted it, he fainted like, he was going to go low to the body. The guy pulled his guard down and bam, that was it. Good night. So he got him out of there rather quickly. All right, let me talk about the featured fight that you guys might want to talk about, which would be David Lemieux versus David Benavidez. This happened on Showtime. And this was a good fight. It was a good fight in the sense that David Benavidez did what he was supposed to do with that dude. He didn't get him out of there in the first round. I thought he was going to get him out of there in the first round, but he got him in all kinds of trouble in the first round. But credit to David Lemieux. He made it out of the first round. David Benavidez, of course, is a big 168-pounder. And from getting to know him a little bit more from the interviews that he had, I began to realize how much of a prodigy he was. He was fighting big grown men at the age of 13 and so on. And I mean, he was duking it out. You know what I'm saying? So he's very tough. He's very durable. He has a very good jab, even though he didn't use much of the jab in that fight with David Lemieux. David Lemieux, he's never been really a very good technical fighter. So David Lemieux can get hit, and David Lemieux couldn't cut the distance to get to David Benavidez. And David Benavidez started chopping him up with a whole set of combinations. And then he dropped him in round 2. I think he dropped him twice in round 2. He knocked him out of the ring, actually, through the ropes. And he had to come back in. And then his corner stopped the fight in the 3rd round. They threw in a towel. So, it was just an accumulation of punishment, a severe beating. David Benavidez did an excellent job. He did what he was supposed to do. A lot of people are calling him monster and beast and all of these things now. Do I think, has my thoughts changed on David Benavidez in terms of how he would match up with a Canelo? Nope, it doesn't. I think Canelo still beats him. A lot of people think that somehow people think that because Canelo was beaten by Bivol, anybody with a jab can beat Canelo. But Canelo has shown over many years that a jab alone is not going to beat him. You have to have the foot speed and the footwork to be able to pop that jab, change the angle, and not like Triple G does it. The problem with David Benavidez is he's a flat-footed fighter, you know. And Canelo loves flat-footed fighters. Okay, Benavidez has quick hands. He does not have quick feet. He has some explosiveness and he has some cat-likeness to him, but he doesn't really have quick feet. You know, I think Canelo has much quicker feet. And the whole thing that Canelo has to do is just step around David Benavidez, just keep on stepping around him and landing punches, kind of like what what Julian Williams did to Jarrett Hurd. That's what he has to do, and it's over. Fight's over. Okay, because Canelo's always going to have to step on David Benavidez. And this is not one of those fights where Canelo will get tired, because he'll be able to conduct the fight at his pace. Even though David Benavidez has very quick hands. He has a really nice jab, but he don't have defense. I keep on telling people this. People don't want to hear me, but he gets hit to the body, man. He gets hit to the body. His major defense is his jab. And he does pick off shots, don't get me wrong, but he can get caught with left hooks. He can get, I mean, I saw Ronald Gavril, who has a decent jab himself. I saw Ronald Gavril put him down. I know that's a long time ago, but he's still susceptible to that left hook, that counter left hook. So, David Benavidez, though, excellent performance for a 25-year-old. He has a lot of growth and a lot of work to do. He's going to be a true monster eventually, but he's going to have to do something about his feet. Same problem Canelo has, he has. And what you need to do with David Benavidez, you need to make him move backwards. You need to make him walk backwards. I know he faced Triple G and all those guys, all those big name guys and stuff, but I just think that David Benavidez is a dude. If you have him on the back foot and you have him fighting off the back foot, and making him have to box and move around the ring, I think you have a good chance of beating him. That's how. And Canelo is good at walking guys down. So I really don't see David Benavidez being a problem for Canelo. I think Canelo will beat David Benavidez, which is the reason why I think a lot of people wanted Canelo to come down to 168 and face David Benavidez. But it seems as though Canelo will come down to 168. The next fight he will have, I believe, and he will actually face Triple G. Triple G, David Benavidez. David Benavidez is like a bigger, longer, I think stronger version of Triple G. That's what I think he is. I think Canelo handles him just like how he handles Triple G. It's just that David Benavidez will be a much younger version, much more durable version. Whereas with the Triple G fight, I think Triple G's old. I know he's strong. He's going to be sturdy and hard. But there are two major problems with the Triple G story. One, Triple G will have to come up in weight to 168 to face Canelo. That's the first thing. Canelo just came down from 175. You know what I mean? Canelo's beast strong, because Canelo's and I had two 175-pound fights against two strong 175-pounders. Okay? So when you say to me, David Benavidez would be a problem for Canelo, has David Benavidez fought a 175-pound fight? And if he hasn't, he's not going to do nothing to Canelo that Canelo never felt before or seen before. As big as he is, he's the one that's going to be taking shots from Canelo that will shock him, because Canelo, remember, is fighting 175-pounders in the pro. This is a pro fight with small gloves. It's totally different to sparring. In that sparring, the gloves are bigger and everything, right? So when you think about it, Canelo basically, those are 168-pounders. There's nothing they can't overpower Canelo. You understand what I'm saying? So when everybody's talking about David Benavidez is a monster and blah blah blah, Canelo just came from 175. And he was hanging with the 175-pounder. Yeah, he got whitewashed because he couldn't get his offense off. But he was hanging with a 175-pounder, a prime 175-pounder, a skilled 175-pounder. Okay? And he also dealt with another 175-pounder who was a little bit drained of energy because, he back-to-back tough fights. But nonetheless, a big 175 pounder who's now at cruiserweight, okay, and just did well at cruiserweight. So what I'm saying is, while he didn't face the Crusher, he faced Kovalev. I want to say that Canelo very much has faced big, stronger guys than Benavidez, than Charlo, and then Andre. Okay, so power and strength, and saying you're gonna knock out Canelo, that's bullshit. That's never gonna happen. Okay, I can tell you that right now. So I don't think that David Benavidez. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I like David Benavidez. I love how he wants to take on the challenge, but I do not think that David Benavidez would beat Canelo. And if y'all are just basing that off of Bivol, y'all just said that Bivol's too big for Canelo. That's your argument. Bivol's a 175 pounder. Okay, that's your argument. Okay, Bivol's a 175 pounder though. You dig? So going down to 168. Okay, going down to 168. He's not seeing anything he ain't seen before. Bivol's a 6 foot tall guy, 74-inch reach. Okay. Okay, so Benavidez and Charlo, they're the same dimensions. But guess what? They've never been at 175. They've never fought 175 pounders. You dig? So for somebody to tell me, oh, Canelo, he would be, he's afraid to face David Benavidez. For what? Why would he be afraid to face David Benavidez? It doesn't make no sense to me. Canelo fought at a higher weight class than David Benavidez. He fought at higher weight classes than Jamal Charlo. Okay? Now, when you come to a guy like Demetrius Andrade, I'm going to tell you why I think Demetrius Andrade could beat Canelo. Because Demetrius Andrade actually has a style something like Dimitri Bivol. Canelo's going to have to go get him, and he's going to move around the ring, and he's going to tattoo Canelo, and he's going to keep moving and shifting and moving and shifting and moving and keeping range and keeping distance. And if you want him on the outside, he can keep him on the outside for the entire night. Okay? That is why I said Demetrius Andrade is a threat to Canelo. It had nothing to do with weight class. It has to do with he not getting touched, but Canelo's getting touched. Okay? Hit and not get hit. Like Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol, his defense is on point. You got to understand something, people. I try to help people understand certain things, but they don't necessarily understand it. Defense makes a big difference for me. And me saying to you, this guy will beat this guy, or that guy will beat that guy. Because once you got offense, you got to have offense, of course. Once you got offense, it means you could be on the board, right? You can score points, you can knock out people, you can do all kinds of things, right? But here's what is more important than offense: defense. Canelo has that defense. He has impeccable defense. You saw Bivol couldn't get, look at Canelo's face at the end of the fight. Clean. He had a little mark on his forehead because Bivol kept him popping it with the jab. But other than Bivol's jab, occasional right hand, or occasional left hook that came through in a counter, Bivol wasn't really hitting Canelo with a lot of stuff. He hit him with rights to the body, hit him with jabs to the body, but he wasn't really hitting him with a lot of stuff, okay? Because Canelo's slippery like that. That's why Canelo can go up to cruiserweight. He could even fight heavyweights, right? And he could stay in there and hang with them because he's got what we call defense. Got that James Toney, Floyd Mayweather defense, okay? So I'm never worried about Canelo getting knocked out. Nobody's knocking out Canelo. Nobody's knocking out Canelo. Let me say it again. Nobody is knocking out Canelo. That's never going to happen, okay? Because he's got the defense. The problem with Canelo was he didn't have sufficient offense, effective offense, to beat Bivol, because Bivol maintains a certain range, a certain distance because of his feet. He can circle, pivot, whatever. So what happened is, if you have a fighter like Bivol, okay, like Demetrius Andrade, would give Canelo every single kind of problem in the book, because if Demetrius Andrade decided to box Canelo, there's nothing Canelo can do. His feet are not well conditioned to hang with Demetrius Andrade for 12 rounds. It's just not. Okay. However, a fighter like David Benavidez is going to be in front of you for the entire fight. He's going to be coming towards you or try to come towards you for the entire fight. That is a fight that's what Canelo is built for. Canelo don't like to go searching for people all the time, hunting people down. He don't even like cutting off the ring. Canelo likes you to come to him so he can counterpunch your ass and beat you up. Okay? That's what Canelo does very, very well. Okay? And he's plenty strong for 168. He's probably the strongest dude at 168. Okay? All them other guys can't fuck with Canelo. He's stronger than all of them. Okay? So when it comes to Canelo at 168, that's a division that there's only one fighter I know in that division that I believe can outsmart, outcon, and do kind of like what Bivol did with a little bit more pizzazz. Canelo, and he had to make sure his stamina's on point. He got to be on it, and that's Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade is the one fighter I think that Canelo will have a lot of problems with, and he knows this. That's why he calls him a ugly fighter. He says you're a horrible fighter, horrible fighter. You know why? Because he's the most difficult of them all. Jamal Charlo's still going to go toe to toe with you. He's going to trade. He's going to try and outpower you. He's not outpowering Canelo. Canelo knocked out a 175 pounder, man. Canelo was in there with Dimitri Bivol, a prime 175 pounder. Went the distance with the dude. Yeah, he didn't get the score as much as he wanted to. Jamal Charlo ain't knocking out Canelo, 1. And 2, Jamal Charlo, he's not beating Canelo. He's just not doing it. He's not doing it. And his jab, I mean, he does move and respect range. He pops his jab and stuff. But Canelo, when it comes to, he might be able to pull it off. You never know. But when it comes to, it ain't easy to deal with Canelo because Canelo's very fast. He's quick-footed. He's quick-handed, and he's not, and going forward, if he's fighting you going forward, you're not pushing him back at all. And even if you are pushing him back, because Danny Jacobs was quick, but Danny Jacobs going toe-to-toe with him. See, if you're going to make Canelo come find you, you see what Jamal Charlo did to Brian Castano? That's what Jamal will have to do. He'll have to fight that kind of fight. That's the kind of fight he'll have to fight against Canelo. Jamal tends to want to stay behind his jab and bully you. You're not going to be able to do that. Canelo's way stronger than you, Jamal, when it comes to that. Jamal feet big and Canelo's strong. I'm telling you, Canelo's strong. I saw him pick up Bivol in the 11th round, pick him up physically off the ground, okay? Ain't nothing like, Canelo is very, very strong, okay? You don't even have, he hardly has a neck. Okay, he's strong. So if Jamal Charles is trying to go toe to toe, strength for strength, he gonna get blitzed out of there. Canelo will beat him up bad, and he's a body puncher. That's what he does. Okay, he's much better than Castano. He's a better fighter than Castano. Okay, so once you understand what I'm saying, it takes a Floyd Mayweather-esque kind of fighter, of which in that entire division, Caleb Plant was approaching that somewhat, but the other guy that's like that is Demetrius Andrade in that division. That's the only other guy I see with the tools to beat a Canelo. Jamal Charlo won. He'll have to go up and acclimatize to 168 before he fights Canelo. That's the first thing he'd need to get a tune-up fight. If he just jumps right up in there to face Canelo, Canelo could really do some damage to him. Because I'm telling you, man, the dude breaks orbital bones and shit. Okay, he's not a guy to play around with. He's plenty strong for 168. Okay, plenty strong for 168. He's probably, he's got good power at 175, but he's plenty strong at 168. And don't get it twisted. You saw what he did Bivol's arm. And Bivol, they were using ice packs on Bivol's arm to keep his arm down. Whereas Callum Smith, they didn't come prepared for that, right? So they used the ice pack and the compress on his arm. That's how they kept down Bivol's arm. So I always just swell up the same way. So what I'm trying to say is Canelo has sufficient power, you know, fight altering power to do some stuff. Okay, it's not like he don't have it, and that's what you know. If people feel because Bivol beat him, and not a whole bunch of people know Bivol, that means anybody can beat him. You know, what's the kid name? David Benavidez could beat him, or Charlo, or Andre could beat him. No, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The only guy I see really that could beat Canelo at 168 is Andre. Is Demetrius Andrade. And I think the other person who identified that was Clarissa Shields. I think Clarissa Shields is right. That's the fight where I really want to see. And I noticed that a lot of people are keeping Andre's name out of the mouth. Only person who mentioned Andre was Roy Jones Jr. And the reason is because Andre don't have a good network to promote him. Andre versus Canelo is the fight that needs to happen. It's not my young dude, David Benavidez. David Benavidez is a nice kid and everything, and he's not ready for Canelo. I'm saying it. I'm telling y'all right now, he's not ready for Canelo. And Jamal Charlo's too small. And y'all will say, what do you mean too small? He's 6 foot tall. He's got the same dimensions, but he's never been at 168, and he's never fought anybody at 168. So he's not even acclimatized to 168. Okay, and sparring ain't fighting in 10-ounce gloves. It's totally different. He needed to face a full-fledged 168-pounder. Caleb Plant fought a big 168-pounder in Ustateki. That's why he had confidence to think he could face Canelo, and still Canelo stopped him, right? So y'all need to understand what the hell you're watching, okay? He is freaking strong. He's a fucking tank, y'all. He's a tank. Don't get it twisted. Just because Bivol beat him don't mean everybody can beat him, okay? He got power to make you think twice before coming in, okay? He is, y'all tripping about Canelo. Y'all tripping about Canelo, okay? Canelo is no joke, okay? I'm telling you right now. I'm going to tell y'all right now. You see, Buatsi and Craig Richards and Jean Pascal and what's the guy name? Joe Smith Jr. You see them guys? I'm tell you right now, they can't fuck with Canelo. Canelo will beat all those guys. All right? Y'all got to understand styles make fights. Okay? But Canelo's never had a problem with guys that come to him. Never. Not once. Benavidez? If Benavidez fights off the back foot and he fights smart, but he's too fucking slow. He's too slow for Canelo. Y'all don't understand. The feet is everything. He's too slow. He can't beat Canelo. It takes a special fighter who's got good foot cardio, good quickness and speed, because Canelo's fast. That's what y'all don't understand. He's fast. He's coming up in weight, so he's going to be the faster guy. And he's explosive. And he got good pop. He'll make Benavidez hold up in his tracks because he's got good power. All right? The only reason why Bivol didn't get stung and hurt badly by Canelo because Bivol got good defense. I'm going to say it again because a lot of y'all don't understand boxing. Bivol has something that allows him to be able to deal with a Canelo. Defense. You know who else got defense? Demetrius Andrade got defense. His feet are his defense. His jab, southpaw stance, he knows where the angles are. Good footwork. He can set up his shots. Okay? Jamal Charlo, big and strong at 160. Good, strong, powerful jab. Really doing better on the inside. He has better inside work. He's developing as a fighter as well. Him and David Benavidez, they developing as fighters. If you ask me, Jamal Charlo versus David Benavidez, I got David Benavidez beating Jamal Charlo. Styles make fights. To beat David Benavidez, you got to box him. But if you just a guy that fight on the outside only, and you only have certain selective things that you do, you can be in trouble. And I'm not trying to disrespect Jamal Charlo. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I think Jamal Charlo is more of a toe-to-toe kind of guy. He likes to fight you in the pocket. He likes to trade shots. He likes to stay behind his jab. He likes to have his power and strength to kind of bully you. You can't bully David Benavidez. If you're going to try and go toe-to-toe in front of his face, he's going to destroy you. You try to go toe to toe with Triple G in front of his face, he's gonna destroy you. Okay? These are not guys you go toe to toe with. And Canelo, he's not gonna do that either. He's gonna shift. He's gonna keep on shifting around David Benavidez and beating his ass. That's what he did with Triple G. That's what he would do with David Benavidez. He might even fight off the back foot a little bit against David Benavidez. But David Benavidez, we know he's durable. We know he's big as hell, right? And he's durable. So we don't expect David Benavidez to he will take a lot of punishment. He will take a lot of punishment. But I'm telling you, he's still open for that left hook. If you crank up that left hook on him, you set it up and go low to high. And then who's a really good left hooker? Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez got a nasty left hook, man. All right, that's all I got to say about that. But anyway, what I'm saying is that David Benavidez, he's doing very well. I don't know if he'll ever face Canelo Alvarez, or down the road he'll face Canelo Alvarez, maybe at light heavyweight. At 168, you know, everybody been talking on the other channels. Other people been talking about how, you know, David Benavidez is not getting his shot and it's so unfair, and Canelo seems to be pulling the shots and everything, and is holding the undisputed championship. He's holding it at bay. I can't say that. I'm gonna say it this way: the zone wants that third Triple G fight. I think Canelo should take it and stop Triple G, and then if he wanted to rematch Dimitri Bivol. But I'm telling Canelo right now, you got to work on your footwork, bro. You got to work on your foot speed, foot cardio, because you got to be able to keep up with Bivol for 12 rounds. If you can't keep up with the dude, it don't matter. You got to bring relentless pressure. You can't just be trying to coast and walk him down strategically and think that's not gonna work. You gotta fight a boxer, a really good boxer. You gotta fight him. That means you gotta pressure him, and you gotta get past his jab. You gotta close the distance on him, and you gotta make sure that he don't counterpunch you. Right? Get under his punches and work his body and work his head and work whatever you can work. So that's what Canelo. You know, Canelo's much more of a composed kind of guy. But sometimes you gotta have that foot speed to be able to turn up that pace, so you can take the pace back down when you're ready. So you can dictate what's going on, and that wasn't happening in this fight. Bivol dictated from the get-go. So with Canelo, these are some of the things. I know Jamal Charlo will look at the blueprint that Bivol brought forth, and so will David Benavidez. But David Benavidez don't have that foot speed, man. He don't have that foot speed to match Canelo. He's going to have to be trying to cut off the ring. He's going to be trying to cut off the ring. I just don't see him beating Canelo. That's all I'm saying. I just don't see it. He don't have everything. He's just putting it together, but you got to eat. You know, David has to get that foot. A lot of these Mexican fighters, man, y'all got to get that foot cardio going. Y'all got to get quicker feet. You got to get feet that can, you know, well-conditioned feet that move around the ring. That's why Jamal Charlo beat Brian Castaño. He outboxed him, and then he knocked him out. Picked his shot, picked him apart, and then knocked him out. Sugar Ray Leonard styling. Mayweather styling. You know, Pernell Whitaker styling. Just with the knockouts, of course. You know, that's the way to do it. Sugar Ray Robinson styling. You know what I mean? But anyway, that was David Lemieux versus David Benavidez. David Benavidez looked good. He did what he was supposed to do. A lot of people are hyping him up and everything, and that's good. Hype and buzz is good. He should really get his shot at Canelo. I'm not going to lie. Canelo did some fuckery with the WBC in the sense that the WBC, you know, they bypassed David Benavidez and went to Abney Yildirim. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? That was just stupid. And then after that, we come back to the situation where David Benavidez right now was the #1 contender. He ended up going up and facing Dimitri Bivol instead of facing his mandatory, was David Benavidez. Well, he wasn't his mandatory. He was still #1 contender. Now he's his mandatory. Now David Benavidez is mandatory for the WBC title. And so, yeah, it is a bit of fuckery that Canelo's not facing David Benavidez. I really don't like it. But maybe they'll meet somewhere down the line. David Benavidez, he's the younger of the two. You know what I'm saying? He's the younger of the two. So he ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Canelo's going to have to face him at some point. if he's at the top of the game. He's gonna have to face him, right? Same thing Demetrius Andrade was saying. Even though Demetrius Andrade, he's gonna be turning 34 very soon, but I hope he's staying in shape. I hope he's not giving up because his time is coming. You know, Canelo's going to have to face him if he keeps on winning. Canelo's going to have to face him. His name's going to keep on popping up. He just has to get fights. But it's like the business of boxing so dirty that they look like they're trying to squeeze Demetrius Andrade out of boxing. That's what the hell it looks like is happening. And it's very frustrating. But hopefully Andrade will face David Benavidez. And we will see. You know, I'd love to see Andrade versus David Benavidez. Of course, Andrade needs to acclimatize, so he needs to get a fight at 168 and then go ahead and try and get that fight with David Benavidez. Maybe after the Caleb Plant fight, maybe David. Because I mean, we got PBC fighters that David Benavidez ain't facing. He ain't faced Caleb Plant. You know, they should have faced each other, but you know, it is what it is. Well, hopefully they will be able to face each other. They don't have a title shot, but they face each other. And right now, Demetrius Andrade, man, I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he doesn't jump ship from DAZN and Eddie Hearn or whatever the hell he's trying to do right now. I hope he doesn't screw himself over again, because he seems to always screw himself over. Hopefully he doesn't do that, and he gets to fight with David Benavidez. I got Andrade winning. I got him winning because he's a smart fighter, and I know, and he can fight any range. He can do it all. He has what it takes to win. So I would love to see him against David Benavidez, but he'll have to come in shape though. You better come in shape. You can't be fading on that dude. He'll mess you up. But I would love to see that fight, and may the best man win. You know what I'm saying? So for David Benavidez, I think the future looks bright for him. With David Lemieux, I think he should pack it up, but that's just me. Maybe he will keep on fighting. We will see. We're going on to now two of the other fights that happened over the weekend. They were exhibition fights. They weren't you know, they weren't official fights, okay? The first one was Anderson Silva versus Bruno Machado. And I looked at the fight. It was good. It was great. I mean, Anderson Silva can box, man. Old man, you can see he has age in him. But, man, the brother can box, boy. He boxed southpaw, he boxed orthodox, he switched it up. You know, he actually dropped Bruno Machado. I believe it was in the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken, 5th or 6th round. I can't remember which one it was. He dropped him, man. He dropped him hard. Caught him with a left hook. He was going to the body, and Machado was trying to mix it up on top, and they trade hooks, and he caught Machado with a hook, dropped him down hard. And I believe Machado was undefeated. I can't remember if he was undefeated, whatever it was. And, you know, Anderson Silva pursued him, was beating him up from pillar to post. He's trying to fight back a little bit, but he was on the back foot because Anderson was a much bigger fighter, much bigger than Machado. But it is what it is. I mean, it was a good fight, good scrap. Anderson Silva, legendary, comes across from MMA. Actually was a boxer and was boxing before he came to MMA. So he's really a boxer at heart. So this is like living a dream, you know, just doing this and even being in the ambience of Floyd Mayweather. You know, a lot of people in the business admire Floyd Mayweather. Oscar De La Hoya just recently admitted that he admires Floyd Mayweather. He admires, you know, how his career went. You know, he just admires everything about Floyd. And he also said, and to hear that from Oscar De La Hoya, I don't care what you guys say out there. Oscar De La Hoya is a hell of a fucking fighter. 6th division world champion. I'm going to say that again. 6th division world champion. Okay. Was undisputed world champion in, is it 2 divisions or 1? I can't remember. But Oscar De La Hoya was a bad man. Okay. So y'all need to give that man respect. I don't care what happened in his past. I don't want to hear no out of the ring shit. We're dealing with in the ring. In the ring, he was a bad man. He was a bad man. He faced everybody. And to hear Oscar say that about Floyd's career and about Floyd really is quite impressive. And I know that Floyd gets a lot of respect. And the more Floyd basically moves away from his pro career, people are going to have more respect for him. But yeah, let's talk about it. Floyd Mayweather versus Don Moore. So this happened in Dubai on a helipad. So there was a helipad off this big building. It was nighttime, beautiful ambience and everything. Floyd was facing Don Moore. He was trying to take it easy on him, but his corner, JT was GT, I think it is GT, just kept on pushing him. He was saying, "Stop him, stop him!" So Floyd turned it up. So he started turning it up slowly. In his 7th round, he turned up a little bit more. And in the 8th round, he really turned it up. He turned it up. I mean, he turned it up. And I'm gonna say this: Floyd is slower than he used to be. He definitely slower than he used to be. And his feet are more plodding. He's heavier. You can see he was physically heavier. He could have been physically bigger than Don Moore, even though when they weighed in, he was only 150 pounds, and Don Moore was 154. So I have to assume Don Moore was actually the bigger guy, even though it didn't look that way. He was the bigger guy. But Don Moore is a lot taller and a lot longer than Floyd. Don Moore has a 74-inch reach, and he's 5'10". Mayweather's 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. So it could be that Floyd was just more compact than Don Moore was. But nonetheless, Jesus, I mean, Floyd got a ridiculous reaction time. But that's not the thing that really makes. And let me just say, that fight was so much like chess, boy. Them guys was feinting each other and faking moves and just doing all kinds of shit in there. Don Moore can fight. He can fight. Don't get it twisted. He can fight. He can fight his ass off. But Mayweather was doing all kinds of other stuff that I never seen him do. He wasn't using the shell defense. He was using this extended guard thing, and he was tapping him with the right hand. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, I saw some shit that I never seen before, right? So, you know, usually you probe with the jab, right? This motherfucker was doing some crazy shit. I'm going to show y'all something. So, generally speaking, right, if you're in an orthodox stance like this, okay, you use your jab, your touch jab, to feel out the situation, right? This motherfucker was using his lead right hand to feel out the situation. I've never seen shit like that. Okay, so I've never seen shit like that. Like, I'm telling y'all, this shit was on another level. That's why I said, when it comes to Floyd, he uses the lead hand. He can use either hand as a lead hand. That's just some weird shit. I don't even know how to tell y'all how weird this shit sounds. But he can use his power hand as his lead hand. He changes up the angle in which he approaches it. So Don Moore is an orthodox fighter. Generally, you use your lead hand as a pouring hand or probing hand if you're dealing with a southpaw. This motherfucker was using it on an orthodox fighter. This is some next level shit that I'm talking about here. Okay, so I was watching this. I was like, what the fuck? So I don't know how to describe this, but he was basically, I'd seen this with George Foreman, actually. I'd seen George Foreman use his both hands as probes, right? The old school fighters used to use both hands as probes. But this motherfucker was probing him with the right hand and then popping him with the right hand. Okay? And I'd seen this shit before with heavyweight boxers and stuff. But the way how he was doing it was he was circling. Man, this shit was crazy. He was circling to Don Moore's weak side. Okay? So if you're orthodox to orthodox, right? All right? Mayweather was circling like if he was circling a southpaw. And y'all, this is just some crazy shit, to be honest with you. So he was circling like he was circling a southpaw. Don Moore is not a southpaw. Okay, he's an orthodox fighter. So he's going to Don Moore's weak side. So Don Moore's circling this way, right? And he lined it up so he could get his jab in. Because Don Moore jabbed him to the body. Don Moore was doing some good work. He was doing some good work. In fact, in the 7th round, when Floyd hurt Don Moore, he started fighting back with left hooks and stuff. And he was landing some punches on Floyd. He got some shots in. But man, I can't tell you how skilled this brother is. This brother does all kinds of shit. Okay? Was he using the Philly shell? He wasn't even using the Philly shell. For the whole entire fight, he wasn't using the Philly shell. He was actually walking down Don Moore. He was actually walking down Don Moore. Don Moore's he was the 154-pounder who was longer than Floyd. And anyway, to cut a long story short, he decided to finish the show with a bang, so he knocked down Don Moore with a body shot. He caught him with a counter body shot, kind of like what Keith Thurman got hit with Louis Collazo. Don Moore was he threw a left hook, and then he threw a right cross that clipped Floyd's chin, but Floyd rolled with it. So Floyd rolled with it this way, and it came back with a left hook on the knee as he was extending to throw another right hand. So he caught him just in the perfect spot, and he just went down with that. He got back up, he sucked it up, and Floyd crashed him. I mean, he crashed him. He was beating his ass all around the ring. And he was on the verge of stopping him when the final seconds of the fight came, and Kenny Bayless just jumped in between them and saved Don Moore, because he was about to put it on him and kill him. I mean, he got vicious. He reminded me of Pretty Boy Floyd right there. But he was just so much bigger, you know. He looked so much more meatier and sizable and bigger. So that 150 pounds really fit him. I couldn't believe he was 150 pounds. He looked bigger than 150. He looked bigger, physically bigger than Don Moore, to be honest with you. Don Moore looked the smaller guy, but I knew he wasn't smaller. I knew he was longer, so he looked smaller. But you look at Don Moore's back, you saw his back was big. It's just that he was longer. But still, man, shit. I mean, Floyd's crazy, man. The things I could tell you what he did in that fight, just crazy shit. That, you know, if you try that as a boxer, you probably get knocked the fuck out. But, you know, if the things he do, though, I mean, and his timing is so ridiculous, and his eye for seeing. All right, so let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, right? You are not in the position I want you to be in, okay? But I'm going to get you into that position, and I'll have my shot set up to hit you when you get in that position. That's the kind of fighter Floyd is. So he will throw a shot, but before he throws the shot, he may feint you or throw another shot, okay, to get you in the position, and he's coming with the other shot. So Don Moore was just walking into shit. Just walking into shit. And he was fighting off the back foot, and he was still walking into shit. He was taking the bait on certain things. And Floyd was just setting him up. And the thing about it was, Floyd was talking back to the commentators. This was like nothing. He reminded me of Pretty Boy Floyd. He was just talking back to the commentators, and he's listening to what they're saying, and he's playing with the crowd and stuff. And you begin to realize, you know, they talk about Andre Berto talked about how aware Floyd is. Floyd's crazy, man. Floyd can be listening to a conversation over here. He's multitasking. He's fighting. He's listening to a conversation over here, and at the same time, he's watching the clock up there. I mean, that's insane. The dude is just like aware of everything. And so he's listening to his trainers. He's listening to the commentary team. He's fighting Don Moore and watching what he's doing. And he's watching somebody in the crowd. Plus, at the end of the time, he picked up the ring. The ring girl had brought the ring number. He took up the ring number. Then he started dancing with the ring girl. I mean, this dude was... This dude is a trip, man. You know, this dude is a trip. I mean, you get a little idea of how this guy's mind works. It's like he's so, like Berto said, he's so aware of so many different things going on around him. It's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, I never seen a guy basically probe with the power hand in addition to the jab. So he's using the jab, he's using the power hand. You know, he's fucking God. He's basically leading with either hand. He's leading with both hands. So he could catch you napping and spare jab you, or he could stab you to the pit with a right hand. You know what I'm saying? He's that kind of dude. Crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. When you guys need to do a fight study on this dude. This dude's crazy. And Don Moore is no slouch. Don Moore's no slouch. Don Moore actually can box, and quite well. Unfortunately for him, You know, his career kind of stalled, but he can really box. He can really box. You know, and Floyd just made this dude look like he, you know, at a certain point where he crashed him, and you know, because Don was doing pretty good. He was doing all right. But then Floyd started crashing him in the eighth round, man. It was like about 50 seconds left in the round when he dropped him, and then it was about, I don't know, 30 seconds he had to try and get him out of there. We couldn't get him out of there. He was beating him all around, beating him all around. And you know, Don wasn't really getting hit with too many shots clean. That was the beautiful thing, because Mayweather's older, and so he's missing a lot of shots, and he's roughing up Don, but he's not really connecting like he really need to connect. So Don kind of bought time, because he was dipping and slipping and riding and all kinds of shit. So it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. I mean, the skill level in that fight was quite something, you know. But Floyd's he's crazy, man. He do whatever he wants in that ring. So, you know, but it was fun to watch. Floyd said he's looking at the UAE again for another exhibition he wants to do at the end of the year, somewhere in September. So, and he says he knows who he wants to face. So that sounds good too. So kudos to Floyd, man, in the exhibitions. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Julio Cesar Chavez, Mike Tyson. You know, the list goes on and on of, you know, great fighters who do exhibitions all the time. Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera recently. Ricky Hatton's coming back in the ring. I'm looking forward to seeing Ricky Hatton back in the ring. You know, I like to see the old greats go back into the ring. You know, sometimes they still got that bug and they want to, you know, fight or whatever. But you don't need to go and do a pro fight, guys. You know, exhibitions. I mean, you can still knock people out if you want to in exhibitions or whatever. But ultimately, in the end, exhibitions is the way to go. When your pro career is over, better you do an exhibition, man. You know? And I think that, you know, guys like Floyd, they always going to be in demand in terms of exhibitions. People always want to see them fight. Right now, I would love to see Sugar Ray Leonard fight. And I know Sugar Ray Leonard never going to do that again, but I'm just saying, you know, guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, those are guys you always want to see fight. You know, any great name you could think of. Julio Cesar Chavez is still doing it. And he's almost damn near 60. You know what I'm saying? And he's still doing it. And he's in tremendous shape. You know, for a 60-year-old man, that man is in tremendous shape. And, you know, I love Julio Cesar Chavez, man. He's got that edginess and that rambunctiousness, you know, and he backs Canelo, which is a good thing. I mean, Canelo took a loss, but, I mean, true champions take a loss and bounce back. He's going to bounce back. He's going to bounce back. And the fact that he takes this loss so hard, that's good. That's good. That means he takes it to heart, and that means he's going to even work harder to make sure that he wins. He continues to win. And that's all you could ask for. You know, he's a decent dude, man. So, you know, I like Canelo. I like Canelo. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like Canelo. You know what I mean? With all his deficiencies and shortcomings, I like Canelo. I'm not one of those haters. I'm not a hater. I don't hate Canelo. You know, I don't hate no fighter, actually. You know, not even Triple G. You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. These guys, this is what they do. This is their living. This is their bread and butter. So I'm happy for Triple G if he gets a Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself tough as you can possibly be, Triple G, because you're going to be taking some punishment and fight your ass off. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'll say to Triple G. You know, if you get the opportunity, which the zone really wants Canelo to face Triple G. They really want him. Canelo should give the zone what they want, man. Face Triple G. It's going to be, you know, another exciting fight, I'm sure. Whatever happens to Triple G, you know, you just hope and pray for the best with him. But I want to see Canelo face Triple G. Do I want to see that? No, I don't want to see it. But, I mean, that might be, I mean, that's part of the zone deal. So, if he doesn't get an immediate rematch with Bivol, I know Canelo's got a heart of a champion. He will want an immediate rematch. That's what he will want. But maybe, again, play chess, not checkers. So, get yourself as prepared as possible. Do the Triple G fight. You know, make sure you beat Triple G and comprehensively. and move from there to, boost yourself up, because Bivol ain't going nowhere. Bivol's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So take your time. I know he would want an immediate rematch, but what he should do, take your time, work on your footwork, work on your foot cardio, work on your foot conditioning, work on that. So when you come back, you know you can beat his ass because you got the feet to do it. That's the key with Canelo. Oh, and since you got at it, work on dealing with slick fighters. So whether it's Dimitri Bivol, whether it's Demetrius Andre, you must be able to beat those guys. And then I could say, yeah, Canelo can handle Floyd now. But right now, Canelo, you can't handle Floyd. Floyd's crazy, man. I saw him this weekend. He crazy. And this dude don't got the speed he used to have. He don't got the quickness he used to have. But yet this dude got so much damn skill that he do some crazy things I never seen guys his size do, the way how he do it. It's a skill. We haven't even seen half of it. So it's, it's very interesting. That's all I'll say about it. And that's all I got for now. I see you guys watching me. I could see you guys are watching me, but you guys are not commenting. You guys are not saying anything on my channel, which is awesome. That's okay. I'm cool with it. I'm what you need. I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm going to talk a little bit more about boxing and a lot of other things I have to say. But for now, I'm out. You guys have a good one. Don't forget you can donate to my channel. It's in the comment section, but you can also donate. I'll try and put it when this stream is finished. I'll put it also in the comment section of the video. I'm going to catch you guys later. What you need. Out.